Okay, a couple years ago, I got a nudge from God to start a YouTube channel. And I said, no, thank you. I don't want to do it. And I didn't do it. Fast forward 6 years, and here we are. I want to tell you why I didn't do it. I'm going to be real with you, but I'm also going to tell you why I eventually started it. So if you're up to it, join me and let's jump in. So I'll start by telling you why I eventually decided to start. And I will say this, I had many confirmations along the way. I just was in rebellion for real. And eventually what got me to start actually came to me in a dream. And God speaks to me in dreams. I know dreams have messages. I could talk about that in another session. But he showed up in my dream. And he gave me a message that I could not ignore. So here's what happened. A couple weeks before the dream, my sister had come to stay with me. And we were talking about my dad. And she was physically there the last moments that my dad passed away. And I wasn't. And this was about 15, maybe 16 years ago. So it's been a while. And it was not the first time that we were talking about our dad, but for some reason it just felt different. So we're having a conversation and I felt like I was getting to know him all over again, like I was getting a different perspective of him that I have not known, even though we've talked about practically the same things before. And it was just different. It just felt different. Let me say it that way. It felt different. And so a few nights after that, I'm in a dream and Jesus appears to me. And he is standing on my left-hand side and he's having a conversation with me. Now, if you've had dreams, you know that you can have conversations without actually uttering any words. Like you're not speaking words, but you're communicating. So that's how he was having conversation with me. And as we were talking, he said to me, "You don't talk about my father." So now I know he's talking about God the Father. I thought about it and I was like, what do you mean? Now, if you know me, you know I love talking about Jesus. I love talking about God. I love talking about the Bible. I love encouraging people. I'm that person. And so I almost took offense. So I'm sitting with Jesus and he's telling me, I don't talk about my father. And I was like, yeah, I do. I do all the time. And so anyway, before I could take offense, and I had begun that journey because I was starting to almost feel insulted that you would think that I don't, and the people that know me can tell you, right? So I see this portal open on my left-hand side where Jesus is standing, and I'm sitting by a desk at this point, and so the portal opens, and inside the portal, I saw my mother's house. And in my mother's house, there were a lot of people there. And there was still some coming inside, my mom included. My mom was walking inside the door to go into her house, and there were a few other people with her. I knew that there were family members. I knew there were neighbors. I knew there were people I knew, and there were people that I didn't know. So I knew all these people were inside my mother's house, but I couldn't see it. I could only see the portal, which was like an opening to like glance into what's happening. Now, mind you, at this point, my mother is in a completely different continent. So Jesus said, launch a poll and poll the people at your mother's house to see if they talk about your father. So again, I won't go too much into detail with how dreams work, but he's referencing my earthly father, but he's talking about our heavenly father. So he's using the earthly father comparison, but he wants me to think about God as a father. I didn't see the poll, but I knew he wanted me to do it, and he wanted me to have them answer the poll and say if I actually talk about my father or if I don't. So the poll launches. I don't see it, but I know that it has launched. The poll launches, and everyone that was at my mother's house answers the question. And the question was simple. Does she talk about her father? Yes or no? And so I'm sitting over here at my desk with Jesus on my left hand side, and I'm like, well, let's just wait and see. You will see that I do talk about my Father. And I was almost ready to say, see, I told you. And so I'm sitting here waiting. The results come out. And in the portal, I had seen a friend that I knew who was close to the family. So I was like, that's the person that I'm going to ask what the results are. So I wasn't able to see the results, but I knew the results were out. So I asked her what was the answer, like what were the final answers. And she said, people overwhelmingly say that you do talk about your Father. And then I was almost about to tell Jesus, I told you, because obviously I know better than he does. I'm joking. I was about to tell him, like, see, I know I talk about God. I talk about God all the time. Before I could say that, I heard Jesus in my mind tell me to ask who filled what kind of an answer, meaning the people that said no versus the people that said yes. So I asked the person again, like in my mind. I didn't actually speak the words, but I communicated with her. And she told me, all of the people that said, yes, you talk about your Father all the time are people that know me. And everybody that said yes were people that did not know me. And at that moment, I knew I couldn't say a word. I knew the I told you so was not going to carry any weight. Now, in dreams, you can understand the meaning. In the dream, you can understand the meaning after you wake up, and you can understand the meaning maybe days later, weeks later, sometimes even years. So in this dream, I knew that Jesus was trying to tell me that the people that know me, they could obviously say that. But something he said stuck with me. These were his exact words to me. After the results came out, I heard him say to me, see, you don't talk about my Father enough. And that, my friends, was a wake-up call. I understood immediately. That was the last thing he said, and then I woke up from the dream. And I sat on my bed, and I immediately got a download. And I knew that I knew that I knew exactly what he was saying. And I understood that he was not trying to say that I don't talk about God as our Father. He's not trying to say that I only talk to the people that know me and I don't talk to the people that don't know me, because I talk to people all the time. Even when I meet you and I don't know you and the opportunity arises, I will tell you about Jesus. So I know that. And so he wasn't accusing me, but he was throwing an opportunity at me and saying, the people that are strangers to you, what if they don't know about the Father because you don't talk about it? And it felt like an assignment. And so I woke up that day, and this was about a month after I had started the YouTube channel. And I woke up from that dream, and I knew that I needed to talk to people about God. I needed to talk to them about him as a Father. And I knew that I needed to reach people that I may never know, I may never see, they may never know who I am, and this may never make sense to them other than what message I'm sharing. So that day, I made the decision that I am going to come online, I am going to show you my face, and I am going to tell you about God the Father. So part one, this is what made me actually start and put my face on YouTube. Now, I am going to tell you why I actually didn't start it to begin with.